So now we're ready to install this onto the hammock. So what we want to do is we're going to take one end. I'm going to take the small end first. Now I know what you're saying. Wait, why don't we do this before? Well, that's just how we roll. So we'll edit this in post. All right. There we go. Back it out. Hold on to the loop here. Do not lose these two ends. What you want to do is you want to put this right on this side of it. See, I almost lost that end right there, but I didn't. Okay, go back through again. Okay, so what you end up with is having this inside right here. So what this ridge line does is it will make it so that the hammock can only be a certain length. So you have the same amount of sag no matter how much you pull on these ends. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this ring back on, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. That's right there. Okay, good. And I'm going to add on an optional piece accessory. Let me go grab that. Okay, now I'm just going to take off this. Oops.
That way. That way.
Okay, like this. All right. Sometimes I confuse myself on how to do that. Luckily, I have a very competent person here with my camera. Okay. And again, I'm going to want to put this on this side of it. So this is very tight, so I'm going to pull out a little here. Put my other loop on here. Oh, no. That's exactly what you don't want to do, folks. Stand by. Okay, and through the magic of editing and television or whatever, we got this ready to go now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this over, put this through. The reason you want it there is so that no matter what force is applied to this, it's always on the inside of the loop here. So it's always pulling on an end that's going to be close. So you'll see as you use it. It makes sense. Trust me, I figured it out. Just kidding. I probably got it from someone on the forum or something. Now, just want to go like that. Put it on. Okay, now we've got a ridge line. Show you what that looks like. I'll just hook it into my little test area here. Look at that. No matter how hard I pull, it's always going to have that same amount of sag in the middle. That's why you have it there. So if you pull extra hard, it's still the same. If you let it go, if you're hanging and it's loose like this, that means you aren't pulling hard enough on the ends. So if you see a hanging ridge line, that's the problem. You need to do something so that it's pulling tighter so you get that nice sag. And usually people recommend that it should be tight enough to just kind of go about like that on the ridge line. That's about the right amount of tension on it. You can have more and it'll still be okay. This stuff is rated for your full body weight, so it's okay. But generally that's kind of the accepted amount right there. You can do about like that. Okay. And if you want it, if this is too much sag, you can just shorten this little loop right here. And the way you shorten that is you pull right here. See how that'll just ride right up it? If you want to go lower, if you want to make the loop bigger, then you just pull on this end. You can pull all the way through the tail, but we're going to leave that exactly where it is. The last part is what they call a whoopee sling, and I'll show you how to make that in just a second, and then we're done with the hammock. Whoopee sling, what you do is you take a rope, a line. I usually do about 2 arm lengths plus a little extra. My arms are I'm about 6'1". That's how far my arms go. So I'll do 1, 2, plus a little more. I don't know, about another 1.5 feet or so. So that's how long I make mine. You can make yours as long or as short as you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop about like that with the tail about that long. And it's going to be a locked Brummel just like the other one was. So I'm going to remember the spot on the long part of the tail. And I'm just going to force this through. Put my little floral wire through. just like we did on the ridge line. The ridge line is actually kind of like a mini whoopee sling, to tell you the truth. And so this will be a better illustration since I kind of ran out of time on that other one. My battery died on my video camera I was using. Okay, so now that I got this, I'm going to make it about the size I want. And on the short end of the tail, I'm going to make a little spot. I'll use my little blue guy. Now, these things are not essential. You can actually make these perfectly fine with just a piece of wire or anything that fits through. So I'll show you kind of how that works. I'm just going to go through just like that. You end up with the same thing. Now I'm going to find my other end here. And here's the end. And I'm going to pull this end through. I know this might look complicated, but once you do it once or twice, it's really not that hard. And now I pull this all the way through. All like, I guess it's probably about 15 feet is what I've got here. A little under 15 feet. And now you end up with what I call the ampersand moment. You can see it kind of looks like a little ampersand there. That's good. So you just kind of pull it together and it will just lock in place. So that's completely locked right there. Nothing's going to happen. Just to be on the safe side, we're going to bury that tail just like we did on the continuous loop. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, pull that straight, milk that down. Sweetness. Okay, now where the end of that tunnel constricts, you want to go like maybe 2 finger widths or so away from it, and you want to turn directions, change your paradigm, as it were. Okay, and you're going to want to make another tunnel right there. So you can see that's about 2 widths. And then I usually do a tunnel that, when compressed, is about 8 to 10 inches long, more or less. This is going to be holding your body weight, so you don't want to skimp. I think there's some mathematical formulas on how long it's supposed to be. I just eyeball it. That's plenty long right there, I'd say. So I'm going to, again, compress those together by pulling on both these ends. Give it a little extra support. And now I'm going to put my little floral wire through. All the way through the little tunnel here. Come out where I previously marked it here, or decided. And now I'm going to take the end of it here, and I'm going to pull that through. I'll show you how this works here. At this point, it's a good time to put one of these beads on. I guess we're going with purple here, so I'm going to fish out a purple bead. And there we go, if you would. Thank you. The mystery hand comes in. Okay. So, and before I pull this end through, I'm just going to put this bead on, this purple one. And what that does is it keeps you from pulling the loop so incredibly small that it sucks into itself and gets buried. I could show you an example of that. I have one that before I did the bead that's like that. It's not a good thing, but you can work it out if you're careful. So now let's get that all up there a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to pull on the end that's not going through, the end with the tunnel on it. See how that just slid right through? That is a thing of beauty, folks. I'm just going to milk that right through. There we go. Okay, and now that goes through. So now what you have here is a loop of infinite size length. You can make it really small or really big. The possibilities are virtually endless. What I would recommend doing, so you don't actually make it so big that this end gets pulled through, is you can tie a little tiny knot on the end And now, when you adjust it, there's no way that's going to get sucked through the tunnel. The tunnel's not going to allow it. Well, you might be able to get that through if you really tried, but you'll notice. So, and I'll just make one more of these, and then we'll install it on the hammock, and we're done.